Hey. Great. That's cool. Ah, okay. Start from 5. And this is out. And probably this we will change. Yeah, that's better. So even odd. They are largely inspired by R-lang data frames. From my understanding is that you know, R also has dynamic scoping and use it very liberally, and actually the only real feature difference, I think, you know, the only thing that R has over the common Lisp are the first class expressions, so you don't have to write so many lambdas, and values could be pulled from the environment, and that's all nice and cool. It has some considerate impact on the performance, obviously. But the fun fact is that in common Lisp we can do something like that on each. God damn it. So we have those macros, and we can have syntax abstractions like this. So I'm pulling group column from the data frame, and I don't need to be very explicit about it. And you can, I will show you one more thing. Oh, okay. Actually, I wanted to write something different. Key volume group. So I'm pulling group, and by the way, there is other way to write this. It would be something like that. So this mimics normal Lisp lambda, but instead of explicit arguments, we are pulling data from the data frame. So that's cool. Or we can write something like this. And it will also work. So notice that I'm not passing row explicitly because it is pulled from dynamic variable. So it's kinda useful, and it's even more useful if you do something like this. So I'm grouping evens and odds, and I will do the following: the salc only lambda No, we can. No, we can do it this differently. So, the sulk on each. Yeah, actually, I wanted to write group by example instead, so this should be like that. And if we simply want to extract multiple values, like here, I actually wonder if this works. I never tested it, but it should. Yeah. Okay. Okay, it's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So we can do that, and then we can do that. Just multiplex because it's already a list. And this is the fun part. Yeah, not that. Cdl as alk only. Right. Uh-huh. And actually we can do that. Aux group. And this is the most interesting part of this example, I think. So we can pull the current key because it is the key which we are currently grouping by. So it's either even or odd. And we can why the hell? Right, Alexander has switched. That was embarrassing. Okay, even even p number, odd p number, and this is not the best example. We will do this other way. Yeah, that will be better. So range remains the same and columns. Why? Ah. Yeah. Okay. Right, no aggregation. Okay. Why? Okay. Ah, right. no key. Huh. Key. Sarapeum fork list volume group and identity or juxt. Huh. I think that I just found a bug. Oh, I can't do. Oh my god, I can't do that. Okay. Okay. What is happening here? Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the problem. That suddenly makes a lot more sense, yeah? Okay, what about this null? After print. Okay. Ah, okay. Okay, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's why I can do stuff like current key, and this is the key that which is bound here. So it works by group by calls on each, and the contact is established and maintained. So I can even use it. I don't know, someone else. And here, and here, and here. So everything which happens here, context established here, can be used here. And furthermore, row, which is established here, can be used, for instance, here. So it's kinda useful in that way. Okay. Seriously though, why null? Ah, null because I'm an idiot. Okay. So the nice thing about generic functions in Lisp is that you can actually specialize without creating subclasses. And this came really in handy here because, and I will show you in a moment. Just as an example, this example is intentionally kept convoluted because I really wanted to show this part. What I was okay. So what I was wanted. Aha, right. About those generic functions, which I believe Gilbert really likes as well. By the way. So to table, blah 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 blah. I think where are you? Where is the group by range? Oh, okay, makes sense. Here is this. So the fun fact about Common Lisp and the fact that generic functions are kinda independent from the object itself is that I can do that. So this is, by the way, velum, and this, by the way, is CLDS, and CLDS has nothing to do with velum. Well, is not aware of existence of velum in any way, shape, or form, and yet I can make a generic function which specializes on my group by result range, so it will work in such a way, and that will automatically place my key taken from the group by range. So it's really powerful, and this by the way can be nested. So if I would have something like two keys here and here, I could simply add another column here, and if I would be missing what I was okay. And this should all just work. It does not work. Why? Because also now 2, 3, and 4, which makes sense. Okay. And yeah, it just works. So it's really cool in that way. So I can nest those just the way I want. And I can also refer to both another key and group from the same row. So dynamic variables are really handy in this way, because you can do processing norm pathway by return values, and this is happening here. So I'm extracting a list with values from the column 2, 3, and 4. I can multiplex those into sequence of elements, and I can process these elements one by one, and yet I can still refer to the group. So I can both have multiple operations in one pipeline within one row. It's really something. Okay, now about that. I'm pretty sure that was the bug. And it never popped up. So okay, let's think. So this is the row. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. So here is what it is. It should be key, and key should be out of the scope of header and out of the scope of this row. So I'll make another box. Is this better? Oh no, no square brackets at all. Just parentheses. Neither got intended. Okay, so I will take this out, and this should only hold scope over this. I think, at least. And I will also want header here. Okay. Okay. So this way it should just work, I hope. Group another key. By the way, you can also do that. So if your columns lack name, you can name them using in the bind row. which is rather helpful here. Uh-huh. But not important right now. Yeah. Let's write it and check if this my fix that I just made is actually a fix. How I could miss that? Group. Another group. Oh, okay. But this won't work because I already aggregated, see? So no. That's not the way. So let's just finish this example. And I ought to actually write unit test for that. Hmm. Right. All good, all good. Fine. Okay. Which file that was? Nope. Yeah, this one. Okay. May, by the way, write tests in the exact same package as the source code, so don't hate on me. I know that's not what people do, but it works for me, so. Okay, now how to actually write for this use case. First off, I will revert this to the way it was originally, which is to say something like that. Box row not used, okay, that's fine. Okay, let's do it. One, two, three, four, whatever, it's just a test, so it's fine. Columns. Again, just a test. And no. Okay, this is good. Columns key. No. No, 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 no. Okay. Great. We are all guilty here. And what I was, okay, volume to table, and key should be see, and this should still work on this point. Columns, see, okay. Why? Okay, because this should supposed to return a sequence, so compose list. Okay, so this is supposed to work, and if I do this, I will actually change the name. Yeah. And if I will do this, I am expecting that the C. Yeah, I'm expecting that the valid context will be for the freshly created table. So table 2 should be active. So there should be no column C, and there should be column D, and this should work, but it will not work because I reverted changes that fixes it. So set fd. Okay. Why? This requires some tea. We'll be right back. Okay. What is happening? This should not be like that. Um, Okay, that explains it. No problem though. On each C. Then this is out, and list remains, and yeah, maybe this time around. The fuck? Alright, so only group by, but not on each. In that case, group by key compose even then p even, and I will still need no, I will not need anything like that. Okay, will I need, no, and I will not need that. I will need aggregation though. So to list. Hmm. Okay, okay, and now keyword argument is not simple. Why? Okay, because this should be key. Okay, now it enters it, and there is error. And why? Okay, because I'm trying increasing D, but D is not bound, but it totally should. Okay. That's interesting to say the least. I was expecting column found error. Yeah. Okay, why? Okay, let's take a look at the header. So 2 columns, D and even, and even, and D. Okay. This really should be bound here. Okay. Nope. Eval header. I really like Closu. I have no idea how to spell this name. Stupid French language. Okay. Yeah. D is here. So what about the row? Okay. Hmm. Okay, so two elements in this array, and the column count should be 2 as well, right? Yeah. What the fuck? Oh, shit. I am an idiot. Okay, watch this. Like that. Uh, yeah. Oh, now this was embarrassing. Uh-huh. Table 1 or actual table 2. By throw even when film when drop proof of when even proof is got film at frame even list row 0 column D, and that would be even was 2 and 4, so this will be 3 and 5, and test equal. Okay. Oh, this is not even, this is odd. On multiple things, and I will show you in a second. Just let me finish this. 2 and 4. Yeah. Okay. Plan 1. Proof. Finalize. Okay. Verum tests. We should add tests for integration. Components. Test file. Tests. Okay. Okay, we're fine here. The crisis has been solved. Okay, let me explain. So, this is macro and it does bunch of stuff, but the gist of it is, yeah, like that, see? But the gist of it is that it is for generic ranges from the CL data structures. So a range is just a lazy sequence of something, could be line by line from file or something else. It's not important at this moment. What is important is that to table by default dispatches to rather complicated protocol that does bunch of stuff. And it works in a generic way, so you have to specify how to extract each row. So for instance, if you want to implement parsing some kind of I don't know, some kind of text file which stores records in some way, let's say each row is a JSON and this JSON is a dict. You could do that by taking file range or actually line by line range, which will read file line by line and produce one line as a string. Then you can pass it to some kind of with on each to some kind of library to parse JSONs, like yeah, like that, like JSON. It will produce dicts, and then you can populate your data frame in here. So this should transform this dict into either a vector or a list, some kind of sequence, and this will be bound element-wise to each column. So this is the the generic way to do that. Yeah, see, and here there was no such error here. Anyway, what is important is that sometimes you have special ranges that you could, in theory, process in a generic way, but why would you want to do that? Because it's group by result range. You are expecting something like SQL, right? So just as SQL will, when you are using group by, will construct something, let's say, okay, I'm sharing not a screen but just a 10 window, so I can't show you my SQL client. But the point is, if you are grouping by a key, you usually want this group by key automatically to be introduced into your data frame, and you usually don't want to do this explicitly. So if you're aggregating using group by, you don't actually need to write your own key function. You just need to use the default, and it will automatically place your group for you. And by the way, same for summary, which performs multiple aggregations. So it's sort of a group by, but instead of multiple potential additional group by columns, you have just multiple aggregation results automatically placed for you. So this is very neat in this regard. So this is why I have multiple two-table approaches, and I think that I also have something that is specialized on arrays, just on arrays, and this allows you to convert matrix array into data frame automatically. So you can use one function to do multiple operations that result in construction of data frame. And this is cool because you can design, generic code. So you know that you can push here a list of lists, two-dimensional array, or well, you can't push a vector, but you could push a range of vector, or rather vector range, and you will get your data frame at the end. So very convenient. And this way, you don't have to open up all your obscure functions. You can have very generic input into anything that you built on top of this stuff. So this is great, although I must admit it's not the most Lispy stuff out there, but it's useful nonetheless. Yeah, let's make a commit. My actuary should tag a release for that at this moment, because this was quite serious bug. Honestly. I will do it tomorrow. Okay. And yeah. And regarding this example, yeah, it's inspired by grammar graphics, and I am not huge fans of matplotlib mushrooms. Yeah, there's also mushrooms. What about it? What about some shrooms? Yeah, yeah, but matplotlib kinda sucks, but I like plotly in one regard. Namely, I really like those HTML outputs. They really do the job for me. Mm. So, it's really cool because HTML you can embed in other HTML, it's easy to host, and they are sort of interactive, so you are getting a lot of bang for your money. I really recommend it. If you want to make your own library and you don't want to spend infinity time on that, I think that Plotly is pretty good. Um, yeah, though Plotly has absolutely horrendous API, I must say. It's really no fun at all, but it works. By the way, if you have some cool idea for other examples for data frames, let me know. I will add it. I'm still working on this library, so new features are added constantly. I recently added rename columns functions because although I didn't want to, but it's really useful. Like here. Yeah, sure. Why not? God damn it. It was working yesterday. It is, it's for data representation really. But data representation is important part of plotting in my opinion. I mean, vellum data frames are actually eager. But the point is that if you are building grammar or graphics, you need to start with data representation, you know? So, back to that COVID example of mine. Yeah, so you have data layer. So you need something for data layer. And in my case, it's just a data frame because it makes the most sense for me. And okay, but seriously, what's happening here? So I think that you need to start with something, you know. If you don't want to use data frames, you should, I don't know, decide if you want to represent your data as lists of lists or something. Even uh, Jack Daniel started his library with sort of data frame. Huh, huh, huh. With a data frame uh, protocol because he needed this for, you know, his data layer. And his idea probably was that anybody could implement this protocol on his site and, you know, support whatever it is. If those are vellum data frames or, for instance, I don't know, some kind of memory map files even. It doesn't matter as long as the protocol is supported. So I don't think this is you're kinda correct that it is orthogonal to the data frame as a concept. But at the same time, it is not, because you need data representation, and if you call that data frame or not is up to you, but you need it. And because I want, results quickly and I want features quickly, I cut some corners. So for me, my data layer is just a data frame, and that's that. Deal with it. And most of people will be fine with that, in my opinion. But it will absolutely be, but it is absolutely not, the perfect design. What was Jack Daniel was doing was the right thing to do, um, but it's much more work, and protocol itself, if not implemented by anything, is kinda useless, and that's also a problem. Okay, so problem here is that old column names, yeah, they are not, yeah. That I don't know actually. I think that the design of data frame protocol is when I was aware. Yeah, I think that Jack Daniels simply designed this data frame protocol, and perhaps he implemented default implementation, which is to say vector of vectors. I don't know if he actually implemented any plotting. I really like metabank bind. You can even make a function this way. Like that. And and it also has destructuring, and you can bind multiple values with that, like that. And you also can have labels, or not, or just flat. Yeah, that's the advantage. Because if you need flat here, and you need let here, it really becomes nested. So plus obviously you have this uniform syntax, so you no longer have flat star. Yeah, it's kind of cool. What I was okay. Come to string, which is great. Nope. No. This remains as was. This get squares to vector. Okay. And when and not null. Nope. We will do this other way. Count null column name. So this is one thing. Secondly, so the dark secret of Vellum is that columns are actually named with strings, not with symbols, but I'm abusing symbol name because it's more natural to use symbols for variables, I suppose. Don't hate me on that. Okay. Oops. What went wrong? What? That's odd. That's really odd. Okay, let's remove this. Because it is just used in this one place, so it can be lambda as well. This is not needed. Okay. Column signature. Okay, this is at select. Huh, so this is here. Okay. Very good. Old column names, group another key numbers. New column names, not a group, another key numbers. And column signature. Seriously? There is for column signature for symbol, but not for string. Ah, god damn it. No, this is weird. Not what I meant. Yeah, there's implementation for integer, there's implementation for symbol, and there should be for string. Okay. this is how it is. You're trying to do something and bugs pop up right up. Yeah. Anyway, as far as plotting goes, I think that if your data is tabular, and there is huge chance that it is, then you can just try to use vellum plots for that. As long as you are fine with Plotly library, which my understanding is that you are not always, but maybe sometimes. Should I create another tag? I kinda feel that I should. We'll wait for it with that. Yeah, I think that you may not require data frames per se, but you will definitely need some kind of data representation and way to tag with it. Yeah, I feel you. And honestly, yeah, I would also use vector graphics for plots if I would be in the academia, but I'm not. Although the way vellum plots is designed, god damn it. Yeah, but my point is that you can actually specialize different kind of backend. And perhaps if our stars align, you will get Plotly for free. So you will have your SVG vector graphics as long as HTML for use in web or and stuff. So there is, I think, definitely some kind of you know, benefit here still. Do you happen to know if changing quick lisp to pull latest source, latest tag only and not just master, is just that I need to latest GitHub release and that's it? Or it is a little bit more involved? Yeah, R is pretty interactive and R is absolutely as interactive as Lisp, and it is very well designed in that regard. Problem is that it is not as universal as Con Lisp is. So, for instance, there is no file streams. There is no real file I/O. Imagine that. So if you can just stick to data frames and you are golden, then R is absolutely fine. And if not, you're kind of screwed. Also, R is really slow, and it can't be really implemented to be fast because everything has dynamic scope, as to use Lisp terminology. So there is first class environment, and you can actually modify environment in the expression that you're passing, and it's first class and it's crazy, and it's like it would be in common Lisp if every variable was special, for instance. So back in the, well, you can try Alice for that and see how it goes. But it's not that stupid. But yeah, but I think that it's really cool language anyway. It's just only well suited to statistical domain. Yeah, that's the way it is in R, and it works really well there. Don't get me wrong, because if you take a look at the R code, they also have stuff like my transform, which accepts this bind row macro. Just let me finish this commit and I will finish my thought. No, okay. So examples. Yeah. So, for instance, I have stuff like that, and bind row date is a column, and I have magic to calculate it offset from the starting date. So it's fine. Yeah. But R is crazier because it actually does not require to even specify columns that you want to use. You simply write that, and this expression is magically passed into yeah. actually this is funny part because in the Dippler there is transform function and mutate function. And the fun part about mutate function is that it does not mutate anything, and it will return a copy and will not change binding of the top level variable. So the big advantage of R over Lisp is to say is that you can throw around unevaluated expression and evaluate it in the context of the data frame. But I don't think that it is such a big deal, because seriously, I can do just do that. Look, it's like Lambda. It's familiar. It's cool. It's great. and it's hell of a safer than passing those expressions. So I think that common Lisp is perhaps really close to what R has, and arguably what R has is a stupid idea to begin with. This is my hot take on this issue. I think that common Lisp has a lot of potential in the you know data domain. And one more thing. I can explain why this library even exists. Why this is a thing. So a few years ago, I was working at this company that was dealing with medical data, and they had this clustering algorithm, which was using very optimized, very state-of-the-art R libraries. And it was clustering data. And it was using algorithm called, let me write it. Ooh, okay, this is actually my company code, so be gone. Okay, this algorithm, Clara, and the implementation was pretty good, although not in terms of readability, because it is literally the worst code I've ever seen, and it was apparently translated from Fortran. So here is that. And the whole data pipeline, whole clustering was running for like few days to process our dataset. And the reason being was that they were using Jacquard metric as a distance function in this algorithm, and they created data frame with like 20 something columns. I think it was almost 30, and because it was Jacquard metric, they put either 1 or 0, and they ran the Jacquard metric on those 30 something columns, comparing it element wise. Which is a problem because why are you doing that? You can simply use bitset, but the library really wants to use data frames and nothing else is allowed. So no bitset metric for you, my friend. So I actually implemented Clara NS myself, and it's on the GitHub. Where it is? Yeah. And it's here. So it's the same algorithm implemented much nicer. But the point is that you can actually pass your own metric into it, and this reduced, time needed to run this pipeline from like few days to few hours tops. So order of magnitude faster. And this is the problem with those libraries that are designed around those scripting languages. As long as you are really doing really standard stuff, they all work great. But once you decide that you need something slightly custom, they all fall apart, because there is so much you can do with the best part. Metric in that library was passed as not as a function, because obviously you won't be calling R functions in your C, because it would be very slow. So it was passing as strings. It was hilarious. R seriously needs symbol data type. Like seriously, it is really bad. Anyway, so my point being is that Cone is probably really good for data science. I think that it's equally as good as Julia, but Julia obviously has more tooling. Yeah, yeah. You're not believing me? Check that out. Check this. I can prove that. R does not has either enums or symbols. So what you're going to do? You're going to be passing strings around. Yeah, 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 yeah. I figured this out. Yeah, it's true. They all use strings, and to make stuff more funny, I think I found some Python code that also was specifying options to be passed around as strings, and it's actually pretty common. So it's bad. I really have much more fondness of Lisp symbol type after this experience. Like seriously. Hash table with string keys. Well, there is also set, which is arguably the same thing. No, you can use in Python. You can use only immutable types in the hashable dictionaries. So it would be like string. What else? Tuples. Yeah. No, no, no. I honestly, no, I need sometimes more stuff more complex than that. For instance, I really annoys me the hell out of me that you can't use Python lists as hash table keys. You need to convert those to tuples, which is a little bit of waste in my opinion. Okay, go back to Venom. By the way, this is really well optimized code. So if you need quick, uh, if you need to quickly cluster something, I got you covered, bro. Oh, okay. Oh, and there are also, by the way, some distance functions that you may find useful for comparing, like distributions, which is Bhattacharya distance. Uh, Synchron is actually a metric, I think. And if you need to solve some optimal transport problem, there is a synchron distance, which is basically, uh, I forgot about. Sinkhole approximates optimal transport problem. So that is also useful in many computer vision application and stuff like that. Which is, by the way, maybe useful for you at some point. So just heads up. And there are also some metrics like Levenstein distance, Hellingers, Hausdorff, stuff like that. Okay. I wonder if I could move one of those examples, like this airphone noise example from the statistical rating system to Vellum. Maybe it would be useful, maybe not. No, this one is way too simple. This also is not very complex. Not that complex either. You think so? In terms of people dying or in terms of complexity? I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, you know. It's okay. Let me put it this way. It's I'm not saying that it is normal. Yeah, I guess. I don't say. I don't know. You think that I should pull this out? Something? Okay. Well, you know, it may be morbid, but honestly, it wasn't all that bad in the California. You can compare this to the number of roadkills, and it is not all that scary, really. I'm not saying that the whole pandemic is overblown. Yeah, I will try to. Okay. So I will try to employ some lighter examples. Motions are fine, right? Maybe I will add flowers also or something. Speaking of which, um, okay, you know the iris dataset. Yeah, it's honestly it's just another encoder, so not that interesting, I'm afraid. I think that it is the most used classification dataset ever. Like seriously. I also have obviously plenty of datasets related to Counter-Strike. Maybe I can use that. Is it? Care to elaborate on that? I sense the great disturbance in the GNU plot. And honestly, GNU plot is great and all about. Yeah, it would be nice to have, simply C library. Yeah, yeah. I really do think that gnuplot would benefit from having something like a lib gnuplot and not just being a standalone program. But here we are. Yeah. I think that gnuplot, given its age, may be very difficult to adapt to being a library. It really seems to be built around this interpreter. And honestly, it's not a bad design in my opinion. It's just limiting. Yeah, I don't think that this thing will exist. It will. It won't be a thing. I suppose. But I think that piping should work to some extent. Perhaps if you could, spawn fresh process and pipe. Mm, yeah, I think that you could get some mileage out of gnuplot if you would decide, to first define input to gnuplot and just when you are hitting visualize, only then pipe everything at once into a fresh GNU plot process. So no worries with state management and all that. And terminate the GNU plot process once we are done with production of the plot. In other words, I think that as long as you are not trying to make interactive library interactive with GNU plot, it should be okay. It should work. The more you are trying to shovel into design, the more complicated it becomes. And I think that's the ultimate downfall of all those libraries talking to GNU plot. If you could simply pipe everything at once and forget about it, then I think it would be more or less fine. Also, matplotlib is not ideal. Yeah. I feel you. I mean, I contemplated adding GNU plot backend for volume plots. Plotting is not that easy, honestly. If you have working backend and you can plot some curves, then okay, but there are still a lot of more complicated plots, like rag plots and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that ultimately, if you are willing to put work into making Lisp plotting library, and by the way, if you are just caring about vectors, then Lisp got you covered in that regard, because there is pretty good library for creating SVG files. So if you are willing to put work into that, then yeah, sure, it can be great. Yeah, it will be actually the best option, but there's just so much work that you need to put into that. Maybe if I would not be working on my full time, I would give a shot at that. Yeah, I think that ggplot is and grammar graphics is a good idea, but the issue is that grammar of graphics is more about domain-specific language to specify plots, and it helps you with that, with API design, but it does not help you with simply putting stuff on the screen. That's the problem here. And there is plenty to do as long as in this department. Even simply putting stuff on the screen is pretty time consuming if you want to do it right. But I don't let yourself be discouraged by me. If you want to give your best shot at implementing your own plotting library, then all the power to you. And I may even try to support that here. So I may add custom vector backend if that would become feasible. But there is, there is I wouldn't do it myself because there is just so much I can support on my own. So I would prefer to write on something that was done by someone else. Anyway, regarding plotting, give me a second. Vector visualizations. If I would be to implement my own plotting library for vectors, I would probably yeah. Yeah, I would probably try to use what's this library called again? Okay, pretty obvious. CLSVG. I will try to use that. Vector is a little bit more high level. And this one, it just allows you to, write your XML primitives like you are doing in the README. Yeah, so here it is just like it is just your standard SVG. There is cycle, there is X, Y, R. So it's pretty close to the chest. And if you can work with that, I think it will be fine. And there is decent set of examples in the repository, so that's something, right? Yeah, I use org mode for taking notes, but eventually I want to make my own library for that, or rather my own application, probably written in common Lisp and Clean, most likely. I just would want something more akin to Wiki. Oh, good to you. Good for you. Org mode is surprisingly powerful. Like seriously, you can do almost anything with it. It's astonishing. Okay. Anyway, I will be closing the stream right now. Thanks for joining me, and have a nice day. Bye.